377. From this moment.
Hey, radio listeners, this is Michelle Hyatt,
And this is Carim Hyatt.
host of Marriage in a Minute. Tune in every Saturday at 3:30 p.m. right here on Omega Radio Broadcasting Network for encouraging words on marriage.
And listen, guys, check out our new website, www.marriagevantagepoint.com. And remember, you are the MVP in your marriage.
From this moment.
Good afternoon, Omega Radio listeners. Coming to you now, we have both Carim and Michelle Hyatt, your hosts for Marriage in a Minute. So go ahead and get settled in. Here they are now, your hosts for Marriage in a Minute, the Hyatts, right here on Omega Radio. Over to you.
Hello.
Good afternoon, radio listeners.
Hi, you guys.
She sounds like she's just this soft-spoken.
I am very soft-spoken. I am super soft-spoken. Anyway, it is 3:30 Saturday, and it is absolutely divine. It is beautiful outside. So, again, I say this every week, but I hope you guys are getting out as couples. Do something. Don't just let something happen to you, Just do something. Get out. We got out this morning. We had fam jam at church. And, of course, I played a little basketball while my husband worked. That's how it should be. The women play and the men work.
All right.
No.
Work and
Please
play.
do not write me. Do not write him. I was only playing about that. But anyway, so it is really, it's great. It's beautiful out. It is hot. So bring your sunscreen and water, hydrated. But it's beautiful. You guys can enjoy the rest of the afternoon. I hope that with little bit of money to no money, there are so many things that you're able to do, without breaking the bank.
Yeah,
So
and
get out there.
Yes, and we know that we're talking about here in South Florida. It's really nice. But
Wherever you are,
try to
make
get
the best of it, right?
Yes.
So
Anyway, so we're glad that you guys listening in every week to Marriage in a Minute to support this radio station and to get nuggets from us. I pray that we're being effective for the kingdom because marriage was created by the Lord to be great. So we're encouraged to encourage you guys. So
yeah, we're not, as my husband said that, listen, we're not making money. We really just feel like we're led to just, marriage. I feel like marriage has lost its voice. There's so many things. There's so many ways marriages are being attacked these days. Marriage looked different from when we were young. There are different parties in marriage now. People have different names. It's not just a man and a woman anymore. So, it looks so different. So we really have to stand up and represent what marriage really should be or what it means. It's so close to the Lord, right? And we're really trying to get the word out. Like, look, stick with your marriage. We know it's hard. And today it's not a hard topic, but sometimes it can be hard. So today we're talking about, awkward conversations, like hard conversation, not hard, but awkward conversations where you've got to talk with your spouse about. And sometimes it seems like, is this not the person that you decided that you wanted to spend the rest of your life with? Like, you can be able to speak about anything or be with them in any kind of way, yet sometimes some situation comes up where it's so hard to just speak truth, right? And some of these things were just examples. It could be a million and one things that really you have in your marriage that you want to talk to your spouse about, but sometimes you find it difficult. So
yeah, the question is, why is it so hard to tell your spouse something that you don't like? That's
without feeling like you're killing
awkward.
the marriage or somebody getting their feelings hurt so badly that they think, it's time for a divorce. No, we don't all like the same things.
And the truth is that you're going to have to tell your spouse the things that you don't like. But sometimes we hold back for different reasons and it becomes awkward. It's the awkward talk. That's what we call it in today's topic, the awkward talk.
And my husband has number 5 on the list, and we're really making light of this. And we're at first when we started preparing for this, I said this should be for newlyweds and for people who are about to get married, like you're dating, you're engaged, and think that, right now you're really going through this great period where you're, or you just got married and nothing, you have no arguments or whatever. Some of these things may cause an argument, but guess what? It's okay. All is well.
Yeah.
Right?
A part of the marriage journey, and I'm sure you guys who are married know that arguments and conflict are a part of the journey. So there are 3 questions I ask married couples. Why did you get married? Why did God create marriage? And the last question is, have you ever seen a marriage without problems? So think
some
about
people
those.
hide it well, and some people, whatever their issues are, it doesn't overtake. That's not the bigger, it's not magnitude. It's not magnified, in the marriage. So some people know how to hold it down. But yeah, there are issues everywhere. So we've just got to look. Anyway, number 5, I'm looking at it and I'm cracking up in my mind because it really, man.
It's a very awkward one.
Right.
To answer or to talk about.
Yeah, because you want truth and love. And I thought about this verse that Jesus says, I come in my truth and my grace. I think it's in John. Don't quote me. John, maybe 7 or something. I come in truth and grace. So before we talk, right, this is what I thought about. So with grace and no truth, there could be a level of hypocrisy. And when there's truth and no grace, there could be a level of brutality. So you have to really blend the two together. Yeah. You blend the two together because this is your loved one. This is your wife or your husband. So number 5, I'm going to go up, right? So number 5, I like it a lot because this has caused conflict in our house where I said, it goes, your spouse might say to you, you guys are going out or whatever. Well, how do I look?
Oh, Lord.
Or does this fit me right? And you already know. This is just, it's your opinion, but in times like this, it matters dearly to.
So how do I look now?
Ooh, child. Get me a different shirt.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Right? So how do I look? You ask. And your spouse is answering. So you've got to be, my husband and I were talking last night, and was it me and you?
I don't know.
Yeah. So, and we were talking. No, I was having lunch with someone on Friday, and this is the statement I made where your feedback, that's your blind spot. So you might be seeing things that your spouse don't see. So when you say, how do I look? Just take a check for a minute if you trust your spouse and say, you know what, I think this is how you respond actually to not get in trouble. Oh, those colors are really nice together, but this is where I would do. The answer, no, you don't look good, is not the right answer because number 1, you're being honest in a way, but it's hurtful.
You could tell your spouse they don't look good in that outfit without saying it that way.
Well, let me hear you do
it that way.
Go ahead.
I think this would look better.
Oh, so then this is what's going to happen. What do you mean it look better? So you're saying I look bad?
No, you don't look bad. I'm saying the outfit, you're asking how it looks on you, and I'm saying I prefer this one on you, or I think this one would look better on you. The thing is, I think it's hypocritical to say, oh, it looks fine, when you know in your mind it doesn't. What do you think?
Yeah, it does. But, and I think it's like the spouse, but we want to hear. Like if my husband if I say to him, well, how does that look? And he says, yeah, you look okay. It looks okay. Man, I am ready to rage because I don't want to hear okay. And that becomes a part of the problem. When you've already looked in the mirror and you think that you look good, and then you turn to your spouse and you're like, well, how do I look? And you hear okay. You're looking for, wow, you look beautiful, or, oh, you look very handsome, very nice, put together, whatever. But sometimes you don't get that, and it's going to cause an issue. So the point is, that's what we're talking about. Just know your spouse, know how to feed them what they want without lying, number one.
That's the thing.
Without being a hypocrite, because then they've got to go out in the world and people are going to take a look at them and be like, wow, how did you leave the house like that? Or, some people might put on a lot of makeup, look like they just pulled out a box of Crayola, right? crayons, and then you say, "Oh, you look okay," and then they walk out the house and they look like a clown.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very important, but it can be awkward. It might cause an argument. It might just not.
Yeah. I think the closest person to you, which is your spouse, makes it harder to. It's like somebody else might ask you something and you easily just tell them an answer because you're not feeling like you're obligated to, whether or not they feel hurt.
Yeah.
But you just don't want to hurt your spouse,
Right.
so you hold back. But like Michelle said, be truthful, but in love. That's basically what it is.
How do you tell your spouse they've got bad breath?
You don't.
I would
You
just
give them a
buy
gum.
a
No,
box of Altoids and just kind of empty it in their hands. Here, take one more.
Yeah, I mean, I personally, for me, if Michelle says to me, hey, your breath, I don't take it.
But you know what it is?
I'm not saying you should do it that way, but I'm just saying,
Right, but
is it your personality that might bring it out in a nasty way, or is
Yeah.
it that you refuse to accept it because of how you are?
that's true.
So it
Because
depends.
if you have, like, I am a direct communicator, and I think my husband is not a direct
Yeah.
communicator.
I
So-
think I am directly indirect.
But that's not an easy conversation to have. Like,
Yeah.
you're watching it to see, was it just something he ate? Or is this over time? And especially for newlyweds, and I've said it before, we've been married for 23 years, and I think now I know my husband be like, whoa, here's a mint. And he'll say, my breath, and I'm like, yeah. And we move
Yeah,
on.
it's no big deal.
We move on from
Yeah.
that.
So I was gonna say that it depends on your relationship.
Yeah.
It depends on the stage of your relationship. You know each other. You know triggers. You know what's gonna.
Yeah.
So you have to know your spouse and how to relay certain things to them, like this awkward situations. How do you?
Yeah, and
deal with
if your relationship is rocky, where conversations just spark arguments, like what do you do? Maybe just the same way, hey, you might need a little breath mint or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but
So-
but don't use the words your breath is bad.
No, that's a no.
Yeah. Just be like, hey,
Yeah.
maybe you could, wash up a little bit or something like
Yeah.
that.
The bottom line, though, is that we're close to the end of the program. But the bottom line is that you have to be able to speak to each other about stuff that's awkward, but do it in a way that is not gonna be nasty. You
Yeah.
have to be kind still, because love is kind.
Yeah. How do you tell
You
your
could tell
spouse?
your spouse in a kind way. Like Michelle asked me, she cooks the food, and how does it taste? How do you respond to that?
You know what, my son, I got to bring family into this, because my son, when I asked him, I said, hey, babe, how's the food? He'll tell me, oh, it's not your best. Those are his words. He tells me all the time, it's not
Innocence.
your best. But, he's 19 and those are the choice words.
Yeah.
So when I hear that, I don't feel bad, because he's been saying it since he was a kid. Like, it's not your best. So I know he doesn't mean to hurt me, but that's as blunt as you can get. It's not your best. And I'm like, all right, I'll try to do better tomorrow,
So
or
would it-
something like
would
that.
Would it be okay if I say, it needs some more salt?
No, but if you say, hey, but there are ways to say it without being.
Yeah.
How do you tell your spouse who's not working, who needs to get a job, you need to get a job?
Yeah.
I think that's got to be a direct, like, you need to get a job.
Well, I remember
That's a
when
difficult one.
when I was working and I was making just a little bit, and Michelle said to me, I think maybe you should try to get a different job.
Yeah.
Something that it's encouragement. But if you say it
Yeah.
in a way like, listen, go get a different job that pays more,
Or like,
Makes a
no,
big difference.
you're not making enough money.
or you're not making enough money.
Yeah, that's horrible.
That's putting down.
Yeah.
So there are ways to say things to
Yeah.
your spouse, as awkward as it seems.
Yeah.
You could still find ways. So it depends on the temperature of your marriage. And it depends
It
on
really
you know
does.
each other.
Yeah.
So
And I think that time, I remember when before my husband got this better job, we sat and we talked about it, and we looked at the bills, and we were like, wow, we don't want to work second jobs. We just think the better way to go would be this. So you have to sit, discuss it, talk about it as a family, like, hey, because it matters. It benefit you both. It's not, his money or whatever, because it's going to be a benefit to the whole family. It's good to sit and just say, hey, what do you think about this? And I think when we were talking about it, and not to brag about it, but this is one way I think we did, where it was just like, wow, I think your skill sets are so much better than what you're getting paid for. And I think that's what it is. So, you know, you sit, you talk about it and be like, you know, compliment each other. I think you're so much better.
Yeah.
You should be paid more because of who you are, because of what you've done. And then it's an upliftment, it's an encouragement. It's not ripping people apart by just saying you need to get a better job, or you know, you're not making enough money. I think those things can be crushing.
So true.
Whew.
Well, we're at the end of our
Be
program.
nice.
It's the build up and not tear down. But anyway, guys, so thank you guys for listening to Marriage in a Minute today. Again, join us next Saturday on Omega Radio Broadcasting Network for another segment of Marriage in a Minute. Again, check our YouTube channel, Marriage in a Minute. And check also our website, www.marriagevantagepoint.com. Have a great rest of your day.
Yes, it's beautiful out. Enjoy.
All right, Omega listeners, you were just tuned in to Marriage in a Minute here today. We do hope that you were blessed by today's program and that you will tune in next week, Saturday, at the same time of 3:30 p.m. right here on Omega Radio with your hosts, Carim and Michelle Hyatt, for Marriage in a Minute. Make sure you continue to support this program and continue to stay locked in.
From this moment.
Hey, radio listeners, this is Michelle Hyatt,
And this is Carim Hyatt.
host of Marriage in a Minute. Tune in every Saturday at 3:30 p.m. right here on Omega Radio Broadcasting Network for encouraging words on marriage.
And listen, guys, check out our new website, www.marriagevantagepoint.com. And remember, you are the MVP in your marriage.
From this moment.